price goes up or before they sell out, because this will be the only order of the season. But imagine having a garden pro pick out your plants for you. That's exactly what's happening here. From Cottage Farms, this is a pollinator's paradise. So not only are you going to get 4 plants that are expertly put together for color, for height, for layering, so you don't have to worry now about what blooms when and how tall it's going to be. Cottage Farms has done that for you with a pairing of 4 plants. But what takes this from being pretty to magical is that every one of these plants is meant for pollinators. And by pollinators, we mean the birds, the bees, the butterflies, those incredible little creatures that help sustain our ecosystem. They're actually responsible for so much of the food that we eat. Agriculture depends on pollinators, and of course, our pollinators are in trouble. So I've been really thinking the last few years, every time I plant something, I really try and focus on, are my pollinators going to like it? And then what's really great is you end up thinking, oh, well, I did my good deed, but also you get these beautiful plants that are covered in butterflies, and it's really lovely. So we'll take you through exactly what you're going to get. Here's how it's going to come. Here's how it's going to grow. And I want to say hello to Katie Dubrow from Cottage Farms. She is really one of the country's true experts when it comes to laying out garden plans, knowing about what works with what. And so, Katie, this is so exciting. You put the garden together for us.
I am so glad to be here, Sandra. Good to see you. And yes, so many of you are always asking us, I love your individual plants, but can you help me design a garden? And so we listened, and we know you love pollinators. Like you said, Sandra, we want to do our part in our gardens. We want beautiful gardens for us, fragrant color, texture, but we also want to do our part and support our pollinators. So we put this little collection together. You can plant them all in one spot. We'll walk you through how to do that, or you can disperse them in your garden if you want. You get to choose, but they all work together so nicely. So that's our little Cottage Farms touch.
Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to get. Starting right here, our tallest plant in the back. So this is what we think of as like a butterfly bush, right?
Exactly, and this is a cran raz, we call this. It's a deep pink, you know, almost a cranberry. It's going to get to be about 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet tall. This is definitely, like you said, your back of the bed, back of your little pollinator garden. It also always keeps this shape. One of the things about butterfly bushes of the past is they can get leggy and out of control. This one will always have this nice rounded shape. So you only need to prune it when you want to, if you want to bring some of these blooms in.
And they smell so good. And then in front of that, what do we have here in this beautiful peachy color?
Yes, that's our peachy keen. That's called agastache, or we also call it Hummingbird Mint. So I love this plant because it's so deer proof, Sandra. The flowers and the leaves are scented. It's got that peach color, but the center stems and the new growth are hot pink. And so that's why it works so nicely with these other colors. It's going to be about 2 feet tall at its max. So you definitely want to take that one and put it in the front before your in front of your butterfly bush, because that's going to stand right up, pop up those nice tall flowers, and it's going to bloom all summer long.
I love these colors. The color combination is so pretty, and it looks like an expert designed your garden, because an expert did. The folks at Cottage Farms. Now, what is this gorgeous plant?
Oh, I know, I love it. This is called Monarda, or bee balm. So our bee balm is another scented flower, scented foliage. If you rub that foliage,
smell good. Yep.
Smell.
You can see what I'm doing, can't you?
Yes. This is what they make Earl Grey tea out of, Sandra. So this is a really popular plant, but this one is going to be of the compact variety. So of course we've picked some that are disease resistant for you, because a lot of our bee balms will get a leaf mold on them. So this one's going to be disease resistant and only about 15 inches tall. So we're stepping down. This is the next one, and it's a lilac color. So it picks up the pink of our other plants, but it's got a little bit of a purple hint to it.
And then what we have in front of us, this is one of my favorite perennials because it's just non-stop blooms.
Yes. And it's low growing. So many of our plants, you know, we've got our big statement plants, but this is called Dianthus. This is our vivid bright light, and it's only going to be about 8 inches tall. So it's acts as a ground cover here. So you definitely want to put that in the front of your bed. All of these are full sun, so they all love that 4 to 6 hours of sun a day. But your Dianthus is going to spread wide. So while it's 8 inches tall, you could get 15 inches wide out of it, and it will continue to spread. These are also perennials, so they come back year after year better than ever. Dianthus, I agree with you. I think it's an underutilized plant in the garden because it is low growing, dense, so no weeds are coming up through it. And you can just plug it in around your other plants. And in this pollinator garden, I love how the pinks tie everything together.
You know, I'm looking at all these colors and the heights and the fact that these will bloom all season long. You'll always have something in bloom. Katie, this takes care of, I think, what is a really common question for people. What do I plant with what in terms of height, shape, texture, bloom time? It's all here. You know, on my Facebook page, Katie, I asked the question, and we'll be showing some answers later. Like, when you plant, do you plan, or do you just buy things on impulse and hope it works? And a lot of people were saying buy on impulse and hope it works.
Yeah.
If you're that person, this is for you, because Cottage Farms has set you up for success with 4 plants that will work. But they do need some sun, right? These are full sun plants, ideally.
Yes, exactly. And I love the idea. I'm an impulse buyer too. Listen, I go to a garden center and I grab something if I can find it. I mean, Sandra, you and I have talked a lot about the fact that gardening is hotter than ever this year.
Right.
And so it's great that you get to reserve your plants now, because come spring, when we can actually be planting outside, we don't know what's going to be available. So I love that. I'm an impulse buyer too, but planning is the most important way to tie your whole garden together. So
and you've done that for us.
And then we've done it for you here. You're sticking with a very simple color palette, but you've got texture, you've got height, and you mentioned you have multiple seasons of bloom. So we're starting out in spring, and then you move to summer. These are both midsummer, summer bloomers, and the Hummingbird Mint, the Agastache, is going to bloom for you from spring all the way through till fall.
And I just want to show you what you're going to receive. You're going to receive 4 beautiful plants ready to go, free shipping and handling. You get them home for 5 easy payments of $6.43. We'll ship these at the time that's right for you. Here's your butterfly bush. And, you know, our pollinators are really in trouble right now because of more roads, more habitat loss. So if you can plant some native plants in your yard that you get a lot of pleasure from, but then you start seeing those birds and the bees and the hummingbirds, all those beautiful butterflies, you're really doing your part. I think it's a really magical thing to do. And then also, you've had Cottage Farms plan your garden for you. I mean, look how pretty it looks. Coming up, 500 have just been ordered. Coming up, we're going to do some lavender that also would look amazing with this, especially with the bee balm. And then we have some sun patience coming up that would be beautiful too. So with that lavender, this set, and sun patience, you could have an incredible garden that you didn't have to plan. You just picked up the items in this show. The Cottage Farms did the work for you. So Katie, tell me about this warranty for anyone who's maybe